Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you have your seats just finally, it's always a welcome thing to be in Singapore, which is a great shipping town. Everyone knows each other. It's nice to see each other. We'll have plenty of time to network a little bit later over cocktails. But it is my deep pleasure to be here tonight, to be your MC. My name is Tom Leander. I'm the Asia editor of Lloyd's List, which is the maritime newspaper, and a friend of Ravi Mehrotra's and Andrew Mehrotra's, and appreciator of Ravi's book, which I've read, and we're here tonight to launch that book. But first, it is my duty and my pleasure to introduce the principal individuals who are here tonight. I would like to welcome Mr. Olav Ek Thorsten, who is the chairman and CEO of Tome Group of Companies. Olav, if you could stand up. And I would also, of course, like to introduce Ravi Mehrotra, a man who everyone knows, the chairman of Foresight Limited. And Mrs. Mehrotra, welcome tonight. Andrew Mehrotra, thank you. And the host tonight, who is Captain Ashok Batura. He is the MD, Managing Director of Sonoda Shipping, and Honorary Consul General of the Consul of the Republic of Malta in Singapore. So he holds two very, very important posts. And I would also like to bring to the stage and introduce Captain Atul Vatsa, please, who is the Senior Manager, Marine Standards and Vetting, Tome Ship Management. Thank you. Now, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to see a 6-minute video about Ravi, his remarkable life, and some of his views, just as an introduction. And then after that, we're going to hear from several individuals who know Ravi, appreciate him, and understand the meaning of this book and its charitable cause. And then after that, I will read from the book and talk a little bit about Ravi myself. And then after that, everyone is free to have drinks. I want you to all have fun, but I also want you to grasp the meaning of this book, which is very important. So first, we're going to start with a 6-minute video. Thank you.
Mr. Ravi K. Mehrotra, the founder and principal shareholder of Foresight Limited and the Foresight Group, is a legend who walked along with time, who set his own path to success. He is a global leader in the shipping industry and owner of a multi-million-dollar business empire, which he built entirely from scratch. A marine engineer by training, Ravi Mehrotra quickly rose through the ranks at the Shipping Corporation of India, holding various senior positions, including secondment at managing director level on international joint ventures. In 1984, he decided to start up on his own and came to London, where he established Foresight Limited. His business grew on the back of a shuttle service management for export of crude oil and the purchase of multi-purpose ships, which traded internationally. By 1989, he had ushered the company into offshore drilling and refuel shipping, which formed the backbone of Foresight during the next 2 decades. Tankers and multi-purpose ships were added to the fleet and managed from Cyprus. Since 1994, he has been a member of Lloyd's Register of Shipping Committee. He is on the committees of DNV UK and American Bureau of Shipping. Today, the group is well diversified and runs an operation encompassing investment worth $750 million, fast approaching $1 billion. Despite the company politics, revolution, recession, and cutthroat competition, Ravi Mehrotra combined family with faith, intelligence, and industry, using skills and strategy to tread life's path with commitment and vigor to build a global business.
After decades of building global operations of the Foresight Group, during 2007, Mr. Mehrotra developed a new division to focus on the emerging market of India for the dynamic growth opportunities that it presented. One of the major steps was to foray into branded retailing in joint venture with UK's leading $250 million retailer, Paywers Limited. Paywers England is a $60 million joint venture of the Foresight Group and is focusing on branded premium footwear retail across India. Paywaz England has more than 30 exclusive retail stores at leading shopping destinations in the country and has strong partnerships with Reliance and Lifestyle, through which the brand is sold at more than 100 locations in India. The company has also made investments into world-class R&D facilities in Tamil Nadu, India, and in Guangdong province in China, and employs more than 500 personnel across India. Paywaz England is focused on establishing more than 500 stores and being the #1 premium footwear brand in the country by 2020.
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II of England had conferred CBE Commander of British Empire on Mr. Mehrotra in 2006. Mr. Mehrotra has been the honorary professor at Cambridge University of Management for the past 15 years. Mr. Mehrotra has also been recognized as one of the most influential people in the shipping industry by Lloyd's List 100 2011. Apart from the achievements he made through his career, he has proved his talent in other fields also. What's in it for you? The book written by Ravi Mehrotra attracting the readers around the globe as it deals with the traces of his life's journey from cadet to chief engineer, from a small Indian town boy to the city of London, from employee to entrepreneur, and from humble beginnings to final success. At the end of my 30 years of service in BBC, there I was presented with a pension for life. Perhaps if I had been presented with Ravi's book when I was a teenager, my life might have been very different, says Sir Mark Tuley, renowned journalist and writer in the foreword of What's in It for You. What's in it for you? The 10 management mantras. Life lesson 1, family first. Life lesson 2, dream and learn. Life lesson 3, make your mind. Life lesson 4, measure your time. Life lesson 5, open your eyes. Life lesson 6, risk is right. Life lesson 7, face the fight. Life lesson 8, escape your box. Life lesson 9, make failure work. Life lesson 10, enjoy your journey.
It is all based on the 10 principles of business management, where I have tried to give to the youngs how, with no financial support, they can still grow into business. So that is the whole purpose of this book.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring to the stage Captain Ashok Batura, who's the head of Synota and also the honorary consul of the Consulate of the Republic of Malta, Singapore. Thank you.
Namaste, Nihama, Salam Alaikum, Sat Sri Akal, Goodwill to my chief guest, and good evening to all of you. I am here with my emotions to thank and welcome each one of you for your overwhelming love and support for this event. First of all, I like to welcome our honorable chief guest, Mr. Olav E. Thorstensen, Chairman and CEO of Home Group of Companies. He has spent nearly 40 years in Asia working in the shipping and marine industries and has sat on various high-level associations and Singapore government bodies, which include Singapore Shipping Association and Marine and Port Authority of Singapore. Sir, your presence for this book launch is very appropriate. Thank you, sir. May I request Ms. Parena to present a bouquet of flowers to the chief guest as a gesture of our appreciation. Next, before I honor the author, I like to honor the cause of his very existence and success. Mr. Mehrotra, in his book, has acknowledged two women in his life as the cause of his success. One, although cannot be present here physically, but she is showering her loving blessings from the heavens on her dearest son. She is his beloved mother, late Amar Devi Mehrotra. We pray for her and thank her for delivering a wonderful child like Ravi. Second one is present right here. His lifelong support and woman behind his success, his beloved wife, Mrs. Manju Mehrotra. It is indeed my great honor to welcome her. May I request my beloved wife Saritha to present a bouquet of flowers to Mrs. Manju Mehrotra as a token of our love and respect. Thank you. Next, the man for whom we have gathered here to celebrate, the author himself and my dear friend Mr. Ravi Kumar Mehrotra, CBE, Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. We read history, we learn history, but exceptional people like Mr. Ravi Mehrotra make history. Ravi, a mariner by profession, is now a global leader and a tycoon in the shipping industry. I myself, being a mariner, and with me many mariners present here, take great pride in welcoming you, sir. One thing I'm very happy to say today is that Mr. Mehrotra has raised the profile of mariners. Our wives usually taunt us as being useless, considering us confined only to steel and engines of ships during sailing and laptops and Blackberries when ashore. But no more, sir. Now we can boast that we are highly intellectual species. And if they will support us, we are potential tycoons. Thank you, Ravi ji. May I request Mr. Dharmendra Sheshat to present a bouquet of flowers to Mr. Mehrotra as a token of our love and appreciation. Ravi Saab, merely presenting a bouquet of flowers is not sufficient enough for me to express my deep love, affection, and respect I have for you. I like to give you something more than that. In my language, I call it Pyar Ki Jaffi. Others call it a loving hug, if you allow me, sir. We have gathered here for the book launch, What's in It for You? I can say that there is everything in it for some, and definitely something in it for everyone. Well-known BBC correspondent Sir Mark Tully has written foreword of the book. In his foreword, he has given a touching tribute to the book by saying, "At the end of my 30 years, there I was presented with the pension of my life. Perhaps if I had been presented with Ravi's book when I was a teenager, my life might have been very different." Ravi Sahab, I also feel the same. Why didn't you write the book earlier? Nevertheless, it's better late than never. I'm very grateful to Mr. Tom Leander, Editor-in-Chief Asia of the Lloyd's List, for gracefully agreeing to help us out as an MC for this event. I like to welcome the media present here to cover this event. Mr. Dev Bhalla and Mrs. Shobha Bhalla from India Se, Miss Crystal N from Fair Play, Miss Renuka from Radio Masti, and Captain Sunil Nangia from Sailor Today. I also like to thank Mr. Chandan Basu, son of late Shri Jyotu Basu, ex-Chief Minister of West Bengal, for staying back for this function. Thank you. Ravi ji, I like to thank you very much for giving me this chance for the launch. This has given me new dimensions of experience and stature. Now I will look forward for the next launch that could be of a book or a ship or an oil rig. Finally, I like to say that everyone has a book in him or her. It only depends whose book is worth penning down. However, I see here many learned friends of mine whose books are worth publishing. Please go ahead, write your book, and call me for the launch. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Captain Mehrotra. That was very good. That was very warm and welcome. Thank you. Next, I would like to bring our chief guest, Mr. Olav Ek Thornton, the chairman of TOME, to say a few words and to launch the book itself.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Captain Vatsa and Captain Batura, for inviting me for formally launch the book, What is Enough for You, by Mr. Ravi Mehrotra. Coming from the shipping industry myself, I have of course heard of Mr. Mehrotra and his Foresight Group growth over the years. However, I was not aware of the interesting story behind his success. When I was invited to be a guest for the launch of the book this evening, I went through his book and was surprised to read about his journey from a simple small town boy to a global leader in the shipping industry, an owner of a multi-million-dollar business empire, which he built entirely from scratch. However, the most interesting aspect of this book is not his story, but the life lessons he has drawn from them. The life lesson defined by Ravi can lay out a roadmap for every young entrepreneur and anyone with a fire in their belly looking to succeed. This book is an inspiration for anyone and shows that humble beginning should never be a limitation. I hope young people around the world will be inspired by Mr. Ravi's book and his personal story to work towards their dreams. Thank you.
And now it's time to officially launch the book. Well, thank you very much. The book is now officially launched, and I urge you all to read it. I'm going to be reading from the book itself, and you can judge from the merits. It's a very well-written book from the point of view of a writer. First, I wanted to tell you a little bit about Ravi and how I came across him at first. So I went out to his home in Putney, and there, just about everybody in shipping was there, including the Secretary General of the IMO, many of the CEOs of some of the European companies, many CEOs from some of the Asian companies. But I couldn't find where Mr. Mehrotra was. I still wanted to know who this man was. If you've read an American classic called Great Gatsby, you'll know that a guy named Nick Carraway wanders around, an American guy, wanders around a big party, a splendid party, and oh, what a splendid party this was, by the way. There was a giant tent in his backyard that looked like Kubla Khan's sort of celebratory area with the most wonderful food on earth. And I couldn't find Ravi, and then suddenly, as I was sort of stepping up in one of the front rooms, there was a gentleman just sitting there, just having a nice conversation, and it was Ravi, very humble. He had, all these people knew him, and here was this remarkable party. And it was one of the first times that I felt actually welcome in London after having moved there from Asia, and I wanted to thank him for that. So I wanted to get a little bit about who is this guy anyway, and why does everybody seem to know him? And so I did some background research, as journalists tend to do. His Foresight Limited was founded in 1984, and Ravi spent the early part of his career working in India and Iran. Some of this you saw in the film. And his first job in shipping was with the Shipping Corporation of India. And his work in shipping in the early days of the Islamic Republic of Iran helped to ensure that that nation was able to develop a necessary maritime transport essential for its economic survival. In 1975, he was seconded to Iran to help set up the Irano-Hind Shipping Company in Tehran, and a joint venture run by the governments of Iran and India. And then from 1979, following the Iranian Revolution, he combined his duties as managing director, as a very young man, for Irano-Hind, with those of principal advisor to the government of Iran and the Ministry of Trade in particular. And he basically was responsible for developing this nation's shipping. And after that, he went on to another life, setting up shop in Britain, becoming a ship owner. He's well known in London shipping circles as a maverick who knows how to read the fortunes of the tanker offshore and other markets and to make canny bets on when to buy and sell. He's owned dry cargo vessels, refrigerated vessels, a drill ship, very large crude carriers, jack-up rigs, tankers, container ships, and a cruise ship. For his remarkable career so far and his acumen in shipping, he was awarded honorary CBE by Queen Elizabeth II in 2006. And he now has decided to impart some of the elements that allowed him to develop this remarkable career into his book, which is a charitable book. It's going to be given to a maritime institute in India, all the proceeds. But it's really like no other book, business book, that I've ever read. First, I mean, Ravi's an unusual guy, so you'd expect an unusual book. For example, 2 years ago, I said, Ravi, what are you doing with the summer? And he said, oh, me and my wife were going to take a hike around Mount Kailas in Tibet. I went, what? And there he did. He actually did. He found a way to get there. It was very, very difficult to do it from Lhasa, so he went to Kathmandu and hired a helicopter. Flew in the fog from hill to hill to dale, and then found his way up to Mount Kailas, and they actually walked part of it. A remarkable journey, and a very, very interesting man. In shipping, you run into a lot of people who look like geniuses in business, but you never meet somebody who walks around a holy mountain in Tibet. So I found that fascinating. Now, also, Ravi, he sort of tickled my fancy because he has Chinese restaurants in India and Indian restaurants in China. They both happen to be very successful. Now, I was thinking, oh, all right, fair enough. I mean, why didn't I think of that? But the restaurants are a very, very high quality, and the secret is not just that he's doing this contrarian thing, but he knows what good quality is. Now, I used to work in consulting. Part of my life I don't like to admit. I've been a journalist, and I met a lot of business people. I was a financial journalist before I became a shipping journalist. And a lot of the books that I read are quite unrealistic. They are the 10 ways to meet the Sartori of being a CEO or something like this. They're always like lists. And Ravi's 10 items are actual real items. And the advice he gives in his book is real advice. And it comes directly from raw experience, and none of it is false. And a lot of it's well written. So let me read a section about how Ravi approached risk management at a crucial point in his life. This was in Iran. It was either my propensity to gravitate towards troubled situations that brought me face to face with my destiny, or the fact that my destiny was to create success out of troubled situations. Nevertheless, whatever's the answer to that, I've always felt that there's a connection there, and I have created my destiny by facing troubled situations head on. It's not always that strife, war, and revolutions can be beneficial. Yet another hotbed of trouble leading to a challenge and then success popped up in my life in 1979 when the Iranian leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, arrived in Iran to lead the revolution. I remained in what became the Islamic Republic of Iran, running the Irano-Hind Ship Company, and could not leave without handing responsibility for the joint venture to someone officially designated by both countries involved. So although a few of my associates returned to India, my family and I remained in the Islamic Republic. One day, soon after the revolution had begun, Islamic guards were sent to escort me to the Revolutionary Council headquarters. I was petrified. The revolutionaries were allegedly executing people related or connected with the Shah of Iran. I called Mr. Ali Akbar Khalili, and then the Indian ambassador to Tehran, and both he and the managing director of Irano-Hind advised me to go. When I reached the headquarters, they surprised me by producing a complete dossier on me. They further astonished me by telling me that since the Islamic Republic of Iran did not have an oil pipeline, and all oil, more than 3 barrels per day, was exported by sea from Karg Island, shipping lanes for oil exports would have to be kept open to fund the revolution. Ayatollah Khomeini was therefore demanding the appointment of a principal advisor on shipping to the chairman and managing director of the Aya National Shipping Lines, who was neither Iranian, neither Muslim, nor Iranian, nor European, nor American. So So there I was in October 1979, having been appointed principal advisor on shipping to the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran. I, who had been resuscitated and expelled from the DMET in 1961 for excessive ragging. I guess that's getting in trouble in school. Had become the most senior foreigner to post-revolutionary Iran. Even ambassadors of other countries had to seek an appointment with me if they had any issues related to shipping. My first task was to nationalize the Arya National Shipping Line, which I, and indeed most others, had been under the mistaken impression was already nationalized. This was not the case. It was owned by the Shah's Foundation. I took responsibility for nationalizing the line, and I personally drew up a bill of nationalization in order to ensure that it would remain the country's premier shipping organization. And indeed, for many years, it went on to be a very, very impressive shipping line. It was the foundation for Iranian shipping, which in two remarkable shipping companies, of course, which today are under duress because of U.S. sanctions, but they had a very, very long run, and I'm sure they will continue to do so. Now, I want to read one more element to the thinking of Mr. Mehrotra and why people should read this book, even well beyond the shipping. Something very unusual about the way he approaches business problems is categorized in his step 5 of the principles that you saw on the screen there. Now, Ravi says, once your plan has been prepared in detail, stop working on it and mull it over for 3 days. Challenge your subconscious mind and let it look at the plan, pick holes in it, and tell you all its reservations about the plan. Because once you are set on the path of your destination, changing your plan is nearly impossible. There's no going back on it. Don't let your subconscious mind have the opportunity to point a finger at you later on and say, you did not consult me. You will be surprised at the dreams and suggestions the subconscious mind can come up with once it is pushed to use. Now factor these suggestions made by your subconscious into your plan, and it is not necessary that all your subconscious mind suggestions are correct. If they're not, feel free to argue with it and with your subconscious mind and point out the holes in the plan. They're very, very interesting ideas. Now, before I bring Ravi up, I was charmed by another story which appeared in the early copies of the book. Ravi, actually, he's a very bold man. I mean, he wasn't afraid of Ayatollah Khomeini. He wasn't afraid of founding a national shipping in Iran, and he's done many, many other things. He's invested in, at the moment, he's investing in offshore, and he's full of courage, but he was actually a little bit timid about public speaking when he was younger, at least according to him. And he was asked to speak at a Lloyd's List conference on joint ventures, and he said to his wife, how can I do this? I know nothing about joint ventures. I'm terrified. And his wife said, well, think of the most important joint venture in your life. It's marriage. You know something about that. You do a fairly good job at that, so get up there and speak. And he did. He did a terrific job. I'd like to bring up my friend, the distinguished Ravi Mehrotra.
Wow. Tom, I can't express the way you have described my book as if I am Salman Rushdie. I hope the book is readable to you. Ladies and gentlemen, before I discuss what Tom has given me work, I'd like to know if there is any lawyer in this audience. Is there any lawyer? No? Thank God. I can describe as I like. I don't have to worry then. Okay. You know, I want to tell you an anecdote. In London, lawyers have paid, they charge you, not paid, they charge you by hours, not by day, not by the case. Whatever hours they put in, they bill you. So, here is a very young, energetic, very intelligent, hard-working lawyer. He used to work very hard, and he had made a plan that he will work till 45 and then take a retirement and go and settle in Bahamas. There's one catch. And also, he will divorce his wife and marry a young nubile and then settle in Bahamas. His plan, like me, he implemented it. He worked on it. He made a lot of money. And when he reached 45, he took retirement from his company. And he also took divorce from his wife, amicable, and married a young nubile lady and went to Bahamas to settle. He was very happy that everything has worked out well. Then suddenly, one day, he died. He was very annoyed. He says, when everything was going well, why I have died? I am so young. So he went to the heaven. He went to the God. He says, God, why have you called me here? I am still young. I am enjoying. There was no serious sickness. Why have you called? God also got puzzled. He says, okay, let me call. He called St. Peter's, bring his logbook, let's see what is the position. When he says, why you have called him up? He says, he is only 45-year-old. So St. Peter says, yes, what he says is okay, that's a recorded age. But the bills he has charged to his clients, he is supposed to be 97. That is the reason. Okay. So this is how the legal firms are known in UK. So thank God there was no one here legal. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the second job which Tom has given me is to describe why did I write this book. That's a really difficult question to answer. But the question comes, when you work hard, you follow exact schedules, travel hard, and at the end of your life, if you have to show only your bank account as your output, I started asking and looking at me, is it worth it? And that is where the question comes of legacy. What have I achieved and what I have given to the society? So, ladies and gentlemen, in 2003, I established a Maritime Training Institute. And it is in my hometown. And it does not train fancy qualifications like navigational officers or marine engineers. It trains sailors. It only needs 10 plus 2 years education and one certificate to prove that you are the poorest of the poor, because everything else is provided by the institute. So we do not take any person who is from well-to-do family. It has to be the poorest of the poor. Then I started thinking that when I am no more here in this earth among you, the next generation of my company's bosses may not pay the same attention to this Maritime Institute, how to make it self-financing. And that is where I caught on the idea, why not write a book, give the story, do the two things. One, to create some income for the institute in the future, and also create chance for the youth how to struggle and become one of the successful. So my wish is that I want to see few more successful ship owners and entrepreneurs. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'd be remiss if we didn't ask Ravi some questions about his remarkable career, some of the meaning behind the book. Anyone would like to venture a question to Ravi? Was there ever a point in your career when you felt that the difficulties were insurmountable, and how did you overcome that feeling?
Tom, thanks for asking. And if you ask me, it will be difficult to count so many times I felt running away from it. But it is my resolve and perseverance, which I said, if I run away, then I am the coward, not the trouble. And that is how I kept on struggling. You will be surprised, some of my friends may know, when I came to London in August 1984, I did not have enough money to rent office space on my own. So I had sublet from one of my friend office space. And so with that subletting means I could not put a board of foresight, which I had created the company. So on my table I had put like this two triangle. One is my name, the other was Foresight Limited. And I did not have anyone to talk to. Then my friend sold me a second-hand coffee machine, and I was very happy because when you press the button for the coffee machine, when the drink is ready, the machine's name was Flix, F-L-I-X. So a lady's voice used to come out, enjoy your Flix drink. I was so happy at those days. Thank you.
Ravi, could you, from your point of view as a ship owner of so many different types of vessels, you have an idea about when the market is going to turn around and how, and I think you call it divine intervention. Can you tell us what that means? And why is it a faith-based plan?
See, now Tom is trying to grill me. He had invited me to Hong Kong on 12th October. And the Hong Kong ship owners, I spoke. The subject was, when is the next shipping boom? Am I right? Yes. And there I had mentioned that we ship owners are egoistic. We think we are Einstein. Whatever we decide is the best in this world. And with that result, we always create crisis for ourselves. Because everyone thinks their formula is the best, and we create cyclicality in shipping, and then we cry, like we are crying now. Am I right or no? You agree? Some of you? Yes. With the result, once you are in trouble, the human species knows only one thing, is to look for divine help. Am I right? Okay. So that is what I call it, divine intervention. The example is the LNG shipping was in doldrum till 2009, very bad, and suddenly it's bad, but suddenly the Fukuyama earthquakes came, and Japan had to close all atomic power stations. And overnight, the ships which were going for nothing, suddenly the charter hire of LNG ships has now, you can pay back the whole ship's cost in 3 years. The God is sending money from top. $160,000 a day charter hire, when before the earthquake they were only $20,000 a day. So this is what I call divine intervention. Thank you.
Does anyone chance to ask Ravi a question? There's a hand up back there.
Good evening, Mr. Mehrotra. Wonderful book written out there. Nothing succeeds like success, and effort is a goal-oriented behavior. So I would say success is the mantra for the success is effort plus foresight. So what percentage would you give it to effort? What percentage would you give it to foresight?
You know, my mathematics was good, but I had not calculated the percentages. Huh? But let's put it, first 95% to an effort. But 95 is like in Olympian races, has no meaning. Unless you are 100%, then only you get the gold medal. So the last 5%, which is luck or whatever you say, is also more important to complete the race. So first, your effort and planning has to be perfect. Then only you can wait for the divine intervention, or you call it luck or whatever it is, which I don't know till today what is luck. But if there is no preparation, you can forget about luck. Thank you very much.
And time for one more question. I see a hand back there, back row.
Good evening, Mr. Ravi. My question is, what do you think is the most important thing in life?
My wife is here. So I dare not say anything other than that is important. Am I right? Thank you.
One chance, it's hard to peer above these lights.
Someone?
Thank you. Ravi, I'd just like to end with one question. Can you tell us a little bit about the Maritime Academy and your thoughts about originating it and what it means to you?
Maritime Academy, it has for me emotionally very, very important, because I established this in my mother's house. Okay, we had to break and renovate it, but in the same place. And on top of it, people said, you establish Maritime Academy on the coastal areas where the sea is there. I said, no, if China can have a Maritime Academy in Tibet, I am going to have in Kanpur. Yes. And with that, I said it is for the poor, because educated families, middle class families, find the way to put their sons and daughters in some institutions. The poor never gets the chance. So we train them and try to put them on our ships and our rigs for 1 year training full. After that, they get all their documents, etc. Then they go and become the normal shipper. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Ravi. Thank you. And I want to thank all of our hosts and guests. First, Mr. Olev Ek-Thorstensen of Tome, and of course, Mr. Mehrotra and Mrs. Mehrotra, Captain Batura and Captain Vatsa. Thank you so much. And I urge you all to read What's in It for You, a very, very powerful book. And I thank you also for coming tonight and participating in this. The book will be available for sale near the entrance, and Mr. Mehrotra will sign copies. And just one more housekeeping note. There are car park coupons available at the registration table. And I urge you to stay for the cocktail reception, talk about Ravi, talk about your business, and have a good time. Thank you very much.
I am between you and the cocktail. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before the end of the evening, I have the honor and privilege to express my on behalf of all my fellow organizers, our deepest appreciation for everyone involved. Firstly, I'd like to thank Mr. Olive for taking time out from his busy schedule. I know we are having some hectic weeks coming up to come this evening as a guest of honor. Tom, thanks for coming from Hong Kong. Ashok and your entire team at Sonoda. And I would like to give Radhika special appreciation for her efforts taken in these days. Enjoy the function. Lastly, I cannot thank you all enough for taking the time out from your busy schedule and your presence this evening that has made this launch a truly rememberable one for Mr. Mehrotra. Just to go back for the book, the books are, as Tom said, the books are available out for sale. All proceeds from the sale of this book is donated to a non-profit institute which Mr. Ravi has established in his own hometown of Kanpur. I'm sure a lot of you are from Kanpur here. It's called the Amar Maritime Training Academy. So I do encourage if you could get the books, and if you need a personalized signature, Ravi is there to sign it for you. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
Thank you very much, Captain Vatsa. And now I welcome you to go to the drinks reception outside. Thank you.
See, this book is written by my friend, and I'm very proud of my friend, Mr. Ravi K. Mehrotra. The author of the book is a friend of mine, and it is not only just my friend, it is my family friend, and we are so close. And even professionally, I am a mariner and he's a mariner, and we are in the same profession, and even business-wise I do have some relationship with him, like he was my principal and I was his agent. My company was his agent. So we have both a combination of relationship, professional as well as the family relationship. So that's why since he wrote the book, I'm very proud. So I want to do everything whatever possible to promote his book and to promote the message of the book. Singapore is an international city, and moreover, because he's a mariner, and there are so many mariners in Singapore who would be very proud to have a launch here. You can see from the response, this has been a very good response today, because many of the people who came here, the audience came, are mariners and shipping people, you know. So then, since this book has been launched in many other cities like Hong Kong, Dubai, Delhi, Fort Lauderdale, and so many other cities. So here, since I'm his good friend, I must offer him the best help I can to host this function here. What inspired? Because this book, it is meant for the people to learn the life lessons. So you can spend your whole life to learn, but this book gives you the 47 years of experience of the author. So to learn immediately, just by reading the book, you can follow the book. It can help you in your life, especially for the youngsters, to be successful, how to become successful in the life. And they have 10 principles which he has given. They are time-tested principles of 47 years, and it will benefit the next generation. It is very beneficial for the youngsters and for the people who have no money but they want to do business and become aspiring successful. This is a very useful book for them. Mr. Ravi K. Mehrotra is a shipping tycoon. He's a wizard, shipping wizard. And not only in the shipping, he's an entrepreneur from the beginning, and whatever he has done, he is not only limited to just the shipping. He has done, he's in the restaurant business, he's in the retail business in India, Favors England. he had many other businesses, or still has many other types of businesses, and he's a very successful entrepreneur, So it is very important for us to learn from him, because we are in the same profession, but he has become very successful. We are still struggling, so it's time for us to learn from him. So this is the author, is a very successful entrepreneur, and we are proud of him. I, of course, so close friend, and then he trusted me to do the book launch for him in Singapore, and by God's grace it has been a successful launch, and I wish him great success in all whatever he does in future. I wish a very great success to the book, as well as I wish him in everything whatever he does in the life. This is my beloved wife, Sarita Batura.
Hello.
This is my son, Aditya Batura. My daughter is presently in UK. So we have one more child, daughter. She is in UK and she cannot be present here. So we'll have to send her the video what you are recording, And so they have been, of course, without her in my speech also, you see, there is always a woman behind a man for the success. So they have been a very good support to me, and the children also very good support to me. So I'm proud of my family as well.
So what is the inspiration about the book?
They, of course, they have also read the book. So especially this book is very, very useful for Aditya, because he's in the coming up his age when he is starting his career. So the books which says the 10 principles, if he implements these principles, he does not have to waste so much time to experiment. It is already time-tested formulas. So which if he applies, I am very confident that he will be successful. So I think it's either you can waste whole your life experimenting, or you start from the fresh with the already time-tested formula. So this is the best for Aditya. Of course, I can also benefit, but for me, my son and daughter will benefit the best.
Youngster will get more.
Yeah, youngsters will get the best. What you suggest?
Yeah, youngsters, they should read and follow the steps. And they'll be very successful.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Aditya Batura. I'm 21 years old and I'm studying engineering in one of the finest institutions in Singapore. And I've just read this amazing book by Mr. Ravi K. Mehrotra. It's called What's in It for You? And I find that this book has everything in it for me. I mean, everyone out there wants a job, but who wants a job from 9 to 5? Who wants to do 9 to 5 till they're 95? I want to be an entrepreneur. When I'm studying and I thought I want to be an engineer, but after this book, wow, I am so impressed. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want everything that this book has in it for myself. Thank you, Ravi K. Mehrotra. And you guys out there, join me. Get this book and you will be a success.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the book launch function, which is my 9th book launching. I am going around the world for this book launch. The reason why I am pushing this book, because I want the youth of the world to focus becoming an entrepreneur instead of a job seeker. So that's the message I want to give all of you. Any youth who takes up this challenge has to have a perseverance and also the zeal to achieve something in the life. So I hope some of you will follow my example to achieve this success. And the message of the book is basically to create
some value in your life, which will enhance the quality of life you have. Thank you very much.